Okay.
It's the song right here that my wife and my daughter, they turned me on to this record right here, right? I had never heard this motherfucker. I'm like, what is this shit like? And the shit you was saying was so dope. They wouldn't even tell me who you was. I'm like, that's how they play games with me and shit. When they get some music that's hot that I don't know about. So I had to do some research. When you made this record right here?
2012.
Who produced it?
Fisticuffs. They're from LA. I work with them like all the time.
Was that your first record or was that like a mixtape or what?
Oh no, that was an EP. I put out a mixtape before that. And the worst was on Sell Out, the EP though. That was Grammy nominated.
What?
That song was Grammy nominated too.
So the song that I attracted to, that my wife and my daughter put me on, was a Grammy nominated record.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you don't know, you won't know. You inside the GGN. I'm your host with the most, Finding Nemo, AKA Nemo Hoes. And I'm sitting with the lovely, the queen,
Thank you.
Jhene. How you say your last name?
It's my middle name, Aiko.
Aiko? Because you know a nigga was like, Aiko.
Well, that's like the American way to say it. It's
Okay.
a Japanese name, so you would say Aiko if you were Japanese, but Aiko is like how I grew up saying it because...
That's how the homies pronounced it?
Exactly.
Okay. All right, I get it, because, you know, it was referred to me by the homie, like, yeah, Jhene Aiko, cuz she hard. I'm like, yeah, for sure, all hood. So what area you come from?
I grew up off of Slauson and Overhill.
Uh-oh.
I call it Slauson Hills. It's the unofficial name for that
Is that
area.
like what, Corrupt, Nipsey, and...
Yep.
Okay, all right.
It's on the top of the hill though, so it's like...
Okay, over here.
Bougie ghetto, yeah.
Yeah, I know the difference. They used to have some freaks over there back in the days, dog. That we used to try to go visit on the low. For real though. So you from LA, California?
Yep.
Born and raised on the Wild Wild West.
Yep.
So your music, do you consider your music West Coast music or just music that feels good to people?
I definitely think it has a West Coast element. I always tell whoever I'm working with, like, make sure that we could ride to this, like, that we could get in the car and ride out to it. And I feel like that's something that, you know, in LA, we do.
So you definitely make music to be entertaining while driving.
Yes.
Not just for purposes of the club or
Right.
sitting at home, but you have a purpose of knowing that we like to ride.
Right.
Okay.
And smoke too.
Okay.
Also, it has to be, you have to be able to put it on in the car.
You smoke?
Sometimes.
Sometimes. I got you.
I like the vape.
Babe, I got a
Thank you
G
for
pen
the-
for you.
Thank you.
Give me a G pen. Bring me one. I don't want her to have the sample. She need to get the real one, but bring her a G pen. That's dope. I never knew that.
I'm from LA.
I know, but you know, sometimes it's like, does it hurt your image? Do people feel, you know, a certain kind of way?
I don't know. I believe in the medicinal benefits. And my brother was sick. He passed away from cancer, and that's when my whole family sort of got into, you know...
The medical side of
Yeah,
cannabis?
the medical side. So it was like, even like my grandparents and my mom who was like against it, when that happened and we saw that it was like beneficial, it
And
was
it was
like,
helping.
yeah, everyone was on
Okay.
board, yeah.
Because one of my homegirls, Rihanna, right, when she was a good girl, she used to blow with me on the low. And then one day she just was like, fuck it. I don't give a fuck. I'm doing what I want to do, nigga, blaze up. I'm like, well, there are people around. She's like, nigga, blaze up, nigga. I'm like, all right, fuck it. So it comes a time where it's not even about your image.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because your music and people respect what you do, regardless what you do.
Right.
When you're not doing what you do. As long as you singing them hell of a songs and giving us that shit to ride to, we don't care what you do. Just don't be no motherfucking alcoholic.
Right.
So when did you get on the scene as far as like making records and putting them out? What year was that where you just said, you know what, I'm putting my first, you know, material out right now?
Well, I have a daughter, and when she was born, I would say after she was like 1, when she turned 1 and I was like getting adjusted to motherhood, I started getting creative again, because I've been singing since I was like 12, like professionally. I had a deal and everything, and I was like on the Scream tour, but I wasn't really like creating the music. So she was born in 2008. So 2009 is when I started like writing again, and then I put out a mixtape in 2011. And
what was the name of it?
Selling Souls. So like
With the
like
boat,
a sailboat.
Yeah, okay, I seen that one.
Yeah, and then I just put it out. I worked with the Fisticuffs.
It was like 7, 8 songs?
No, it was like 13. It was like 13 songs, and I had like a lot of features on there. I like jacked a Kanye verse from one of his BET ciphers, and everybody liked it. And that's when I started getting the calls from the labels and stuff like that. And got a call from No ID, and we met, and it was just like he understood like what I was trying to do. Because for me, like, I want to use the music as a platform for something bigger. So,
And you want to be an actress?
Do I want to be an actress? I enjoy pretending, but I don't enjoy being in front of the camera. That's not something you got
a hell of a look about yourself.
I'm part Native American, so I believe in when they say the camera steals your soul. A picture is like does something, and I feel like we're in a day and age where people are just constantly like in front of the camera, and that's why I gotta start wearing shades like you, so I could just
never let them see what you feel.
Black. And that's the thing. Like I feel like I wear my heart on my sleeve. So when I'm in front of cameras, especially if it's not like this, and I'm not like having a real person, so I just feel like if I did act, it would just be I would have to get used to like being in front of all those cameras.
You deserve it. Your music, your songs, they depict a version of your acting. It's just a vocal version of it.
Well, with my visuals for my songs, like I'm always involved in the concepts for the videos, like to the point where I'll just have the idea. Because when I write the song, I'm like, I know what this should look like, or I have an idea. And so that's when I get to act, you know what I mean? That's when I get to play out whatever I see in my head. So
I see you in like some 1920s or 1930s, Dorothy Dandridge with your hair in a finger wave.
Okay, let's do it.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm Stormy Fronts reporting the weather for GGN in Whiskey Dick Mountain, Washington. The weather is gonna be limp and flaccid. Limp and flaccid in Whiskey Dick Mountain, Washington.
MNSB, the crew, just a vision of scribes. Honoring the predecessors like indigenous tribes. Got my marching orders from shucks to slaughter and fuck. Reverse and coded up the breeze, rapid water and flux. The raw wrath of the warpath, soldiers of honor wall. Those of y'all wanna talk and smash with the tomahawk. The weapon, cocky and confident. Call me an asshole, I'll take it as a compliment.
What producers you working with right now?
I keep it to the core of the people that I started out with, Fisticuffs, and they
dope.
Yeah, you can tell that they're influenced like the West Coast. You can tell they grew up here. Their studio's actually on Slauson, so I call it Slauson Studios.
Oh, well, that's it. I'll come over there. I'll come fuck with them.
And they play instruments. You know, they're musical. And Dr. Genius, he's one of Kid Cudi's producers. He's dope. And Key Wayne, who works a lot with Big Sean, crazy on the keys. So yeah, I'm not opposed to working with anyone new, you know what I mean? But I just know people that get my sound.
Yeah, and that's key.
And not try to, they don't try to make me like do something that I don't want to do.
That's so key, and I love that you know that you have a sound.
Right. I mean, well, I write everything. I write all my music, and
your melodies too.
Everything.
How did you learn how to write melodies?
How did I learn how to write melodies? I think my dad played the guitar when we grew up, and he actually had a studio. We lived off of Rodeo and Coliseum, and he converted the garage into a studio. And he would always just he would write and record and play the guitar and just come up with like songs. So I think, I just growing up around that, and then I would put my own words to like popular songs that were out and just sing along, but
And just
change
match
the words.
just match what they were doing.
Yeah.
Describe your music to everybody out there that ain't never heard it.
My music is me. I mean, I think it's laid back. I think it's super expressive, emotional. It all comes from, up until this point, all my music has been from personal experience. And it's just been me sort of like dealing with whatever I'm going through. I write the song literally so that I can like get through it. And it's like therapy for me and hopefully therapy for anybody
So when
else
you wrote
going
the
through
song
something.
The Worst, you was telling him you didn't need him and, you know, but you still love him, though. You understand me? I understand that because that's what he did.
When I wrote the song, I did, but now I don't know.
No, but
So
he
we'll
did
talk about
that.
that in the
No,
next
shout
song.
out to my nephew. He did that. Nigga, she wrote a whole song about you, nigga, and I like it. You hear me?
Oh, God.
He did that. Did you know that that song would be the one that would attract everybody's attention, or you just was like, you know what?
You know what? I kind of did, just because of the melody, and I knew that I could listen to it over and over. I knew that it was something about the melody that was just like repetitive and simple enough for people to understand, and I wasn't saying any big words, you know what I mean? It wasn't like, the song isn't that deep, like it's something that a lot of people could relate to, so I had a good feeling about it, but I didn't know that it was gonna be like as big as it was.
Oh, it's still growing. After this show, it should be even a little bit bigger. How did it feel to be nominated for 3 Grammys, though?
That was crazy, because it was the EP. I put out an album after the EP, and for me, the album was more of, it was on a little different like vibe. It was more musical and just sort of, I don't know. I just feel like I went a little deeper, but the EP was more just me like
Hood.
being carefree and
Was it hood?
It was a little hood. Yeah, it was a little hood. I just think that it was, you know, I was more free with it, and it wasn't so like, it wasn't as much pressure, you know.
So you could actually do what you wanted to do that felt good, as opposed to somebody saying, well, we need to make a radio song. We need to make a song for
Well,
this.
but that's the thing with my album, it was like really nothing for the radio. It was just like what I was going through, I just had to get it out. And with the EP, it was more like, I wanted to make stuff that was more like vibey and, you know, stuff like The Worst. And I have something on there called The Vapors, basically about vaping. And, you know, just lighter topics, and just, I feel like it was bigger because people could relate to it more, you know what I mean? And it was younger and stuff like that. But yeah, so the EP was nominated, and that was crazy to me because I didn't even know that it could be nominated for album. It was like up against Pharrell and Beyonce. And so I was just like, that's kind of crazy, and you know.
Well, how do you balance your personal life and your career, being a mother and a singer?
It's a day-to-day thing.
Look at
It's
you
just
smiling like I'm just, you know.
No, I mean, I make sure that I'm not worked too hard. Like everyone around me knows. If I work for a full day, like I might need the next day, like nothing. Just because I have a daughter, and that's like a full life job. That's not full time. That's like full, like forever.
Yeah.
Even if she's not with me mentally, I'm thinking of her, and I'm, you know,
Especially.
stressing. Yeah, exactly. So it's like I have 2 full-time, you know, jobs, and I just try to make sure that I'm not stressing over anything, you know.
Because that is
Pretty
the hard
much.
part when you're not with your baby, the stress of, damn,
Right.
I want to be with my baby, you know what I'm saying? Like, especially when you're traveling and doing shows and all this, it's the minute that you finish doing your show and you get back to your room, it's like, I need to get on FaceTime or see my baby to know what's happening.
Yeah. And then whenever she can be with me, then she's with me. Whenever I do anything like close to home, then she's there. And I have a big family. Her dad has a big family, so she's surrounded by.
My love, and her Uncle Snoop loves her too.
Oh.
I'm gonna buy one of those big old bears from Costco.
She's selling Girl Scout cookies.
She is?
Yeah.
Did you bring some?
You can place your order and
That's
I
what
can
I'll
get
do.
them to you.
Okay, that's what I'll do. Cause I like, what kind I like, Queen Bee? Truffles? Yeah, that's.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's what you like. I said the kind. I said what I like.
Thin mints. Mine's Thin Mints.
Do they have chocolate on them?
Yep.
Okay, yeah. I'm with that. I'm down with the Girl Scout
Look, I'm
movement.
taking orders all in here. We're trying to win a prize.
No, what does she got to do to win a prize? Because I just told my other niece I'm gonna buy 100 boxes from her, so when she go to school, she can floss out and just
Right.
throw the money in the
Right.
air at the teacher like, my uncle bought 100 boxes. Add it up.
The prize that she wants to win, you have to sell 2,000 boxes.
For real?
And I'm like, who's selling 2,000 boxes?
Like, damn, at her age, 2,000 boxes?
And the thing is, she's like the first step of being a Girl Scout. So she's like, it's her first time. So
Baby steps.
I told her, you might not make it to 2,000 boxes, but whatever those prizes are, I can get them for you.
But you know how you can help her get to 2,000 boxes? You see how you be on Instagram? Go on Instagram and have your baby up there with the box of cookies and be like, my baby is trying to raise whoopty whoop whoop
But I don't want, that's not fair for the
That
other
is
girls.
fair. Fuck that. That's your daughter. And if you don't do it, goddamn it, I'm gonna do it. Fuck that.
Today, I am selling Girl Scout cookies. And so far, my grandma has donated this money and at her office, and sorry, I like this. I already sold 60 boxes. What? It's so cool. I usually sell like 10 boxes, but I sold 60. Oh.
Oh no, is she okay?
That's what your big head ass get.
Karma for bragging.
What your big head ass get. You ain't done nothing. Turn the video off.
She's gonna cry in the camera.
Turn the video off. We inside the Smoker Studio, AKA Everyday People, AKA Real Nigga Shit. I'm gonna ask you some basic questions you can answer to the best of your ability.
Okay.
What's the first thing you do or think of when you wake up?
I wish I could sleep longer.
In-N-Out or Fat Burger?
Ooh, in and out.
Favorite drink all time?
Water.
What is your pet peeve?
What is my pet peeve? I hate when people rip paper or put like dry bite on tissue. I hate when, I have a lot of little pet peeves that I've been figuring out lately.
Now, you know what's so crazy? I'm gonna stop right there.
Okay.
I thought pet peeve meant what was your favorite kind of animal? I'm listening to her talk like, oh, she don't understand the question. And it's my dumb ass that don't understand the motherfucking question.
But would that be considered a pet peeve?
I'm sure you're right, because motherfuckers ain't say nothing when you start answering
I mean,
shit.
it's for sure not
I'm like,
that.
oh
It's
no,
for sure
she definitely
not animal.
don't. She don't get the. She didn't get it. She didn't understand what I was saying. So that's what pet peeve is?
It's like little things that like annoy you.
Oh wow. Oh wow. I got to be the smartest, dumbest motherfucker in the world now. Behind that one move. Church, preach, tabernacle.